in cases like this is the city's health department conducts an investigation, try to find the source, fix the problem. Lead can cause a number of health complications, including brain damage and reduced IQ. Now, in this case, that investigation ultimately led to a grandmother's apartment in Queens where lead paint was found as well. But it also led to this school where a health inspector discovered deteriorating lead paint and he marked it as a violation on his inspection report.
But the health department then reversed the violation, and the mother says she was never made aware of the problem. So what's the explanation there?
Well, according to a handwritten note made by a supervisor on this inspection report, it was because the health department hadn't realized this school facility is under DOE jurisdiction. And the city's longstanding policy is that the DOE conducts its own inspections in these buildings, not the health department. The health department does not have jurisdiction here or enforcement powers, so the violation was dropped.
But the Department of Education had a different story. What did they tell you?
Yeah, DOE's response was that this wasn't necessarily about who conducted this inspection, but rather because the health department was using the wrong safety standards. So, bit of background here. Last year, the city council passed a law that lowered the amount of lead that has to be found in old paint for it to officially be considered lead paint, quote unquote. So health inspectors, they use these handheld machines that kind of look like scanners at the grocery store. They can read the metallic content of old paint. But DOE says, as it interprets this new law, that stricter standard only applies to homes, not classrooms, although DOE says it did go ahead and abate this child's school out of an abundance of caution, as it says.
Now, you've spoken with city council members about this legal claim. What did they have to say?
This case has raised concerns within the city council, kind of no matter which explanation you want to use here. I spoke with council member Mark Traeger, chair of the education committee. In his view, what happened to this child, allegedly in her school, is a clear example of why DOE should not be inspecting itself.
The mayor has the power and the responsibility to immediately empower the health department to take greater ownership of these cases because the school communities are just not equipped with health experts.
And then, there's the fact that DOE doesn't believe this new stricter standard applies to schools. I've learned that council staff had an impromptu meeting yesterday to discuss this issue. I spoke with Councilmember Mark Levine. He said he was surprised by DOE's interpretation of the law. That's not what the council intended, and that he would support a legislative fix to force DOE to adopt this new standard.
Now, listeners may remember it was your reporting last June that ultimately led the DOE to find over 1,800 classrooms with lead paint hazards across the city. What was done after that to tighten the department's protocols then?
Yeah, well, a number of changes were made. One, DOE is now required to conduct lead paint inspections 3 times a year.